After I helped a stranger who collapsed in the grocery store parking lot, he gripped my hand and whispered, "Don't sign anything. Your son-in-law gives you this weekend. No matter what he says, don't sign." I thought the poor man was confused from his fall, but something in his eyes made me remember those words. And when Sunday morning came, I understood why a stranger's warning would save everything I had left in this world. It was a Tuesday afternoon in late October when it happened. I had just finished my weekly grocery run at Safeway on Maple Avenue here in Portland, pushing my cart toward my old Honda in the parking lot. The autumn wind was picking up, scattering orange and red leaves across the pavement, and I was thinking about what to make for dinner. My daughter Claire and her husband Derek would be coming over, as they did most Tuesday evenings, since I'd invited them to move into my house 2 years ago, after Claire lost her job at the advertising firm. That's when I saw him. An elderly man, maybe 75 or 80, stumbling near a dark blue Camry 3 spaces down from mine. Before I could call out, his legs buckled and he went down hard on the asphalt. I abandoned my cart and rushed over. Sir, are you all right?" He was conscious, thank God, but his face had gone pale and sweaty. His hands trembled as he tried to push himself up. "My medication," he gasped. "Left it at home. Dizzy. Don't move. I'm calling 911. I was already digging for my phone. No. He waved a shaky hand. "I'll be fine. Just need a minute. My daughter's on her way. Please, I just need to sit up." I helped him into a sitting position, my knees protesting. 62 isn't old, exactly, but it isn't young either, and my arthritis doesn't appreciate kneeling on cold pavement. "At least let me stay with you until she gets here." "You're kind." His breathing was steadying. Most people would have kept walking. Well, I'm not most people. I sat down beside him, not caring about my good slacks. "I'm Margaret. Everyone calls me Maggie." "Thomas." He managed a weak smile. "Thomas Chen." We sat there for maybe 10 minutes. Me making sure he was breathing okay, him gradually getting some color back. He told me about his daughter who worked as a lawyer downtown, about his late wife who'd passed 3 years ago, about his garden where he grew tomatoes every summer. I told him about my own late husband, Robert, gone 5 years now from a heart attack, about Claire, about the house Robert and I had bought 40 years ago when we first got married. Finally, a silver Lexus pulled up, and a worried-looking woman in a business suit jumped out. "Dad! Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm fine. This lady helped me. "Margaret, this is my daughter, Susan." Susan thanked me profusely, helped her father to his feet. He was steady now, much better. As Susan guided him toward the Lexus, Thomas suddenly turned back to me. He pulled his hand from his daughter's grip and walked back, reaching for my hand with surprising strength. His fingers were cold but firm as they wrapped around mine. He leaned in close, and his eyes, which had seemed cloudy and confused earlier, were suddenly sharp and clear as glass. "Margaret," he said quietly, so his daughter couldn't hear, "don't sign anything your son-in-law gives you this weekend. No matter what he says, no matter how much sense it makes, don't sign." I blinked, startled. "What? I don't understand." "You will." His grip tightened. "Promise me. This is important. Your whole life depends on it." "Dad, come on! We need to get you home," Susan called. "Promise." Thomas insisted. Okay, I promise," I said. More to comfort him than anything else. The poor man had just collapsed. He was probably still confused. But as he walked away, he looked back once more, and the expression on his face wasn't confused at all. It was knowing, certain, almost sad. I drove home unsettled, Thomas's words echoing in my head. My son-in-law, Derek, signed something this weekend? What could he possibly mean? Derek had moved in with Claire 2 years ago, right after they got married. They'd been dating for 6 months when Claire lost her job, and Derek, a financial advisor, had suggested they save money by moving into my house temporarily. "Just until we get back on our feet, Mom," Claire had said. "It'll be nice, the 3 of us together." Robert and I had never had other children. Claire was our miracle baby, born after 12 years of trying. I'd always had a soft spot for her. Maybe too soft. When she asked to move in, how could I say no? The house was too big for just me anyway, rattling around in all those empty rooms with Robert gone. That evening, Claire and Derek showed up at 6:30, as usual. Claire helped me set the table while Derek settled into the living room with his laptop, doing what he always did, working on client portfolios or checking the stock market or whatever financial advisors do. "Mom, you seem distracted," Claire said as we brought out the pot roast I'd made. "Everything okay?" "Oh, fine, honey. Just a strange thing happened at the grocery store today." I told her about Thomas Chen, leaving out the weird warning at the end. It sounded too crazy to repeat. Derek barely looked up from his phone during dinner. He was always like that, pleasant enough but distant, always busy with something on a screen. He was 41, 10 years older than Claire, with thinning brown hair and a smile that never quite reached his eyes. I'd never warmed to him, if I'm being honest, but Claire seemed happy enough. "So, Maggie," Derek said as we were clearing plates. He was the only one who called me Maggie instead of Mom. "I wanted to talk to you about something this weekend. Saturday morning, good for you?" My hand froze halfway to picking up a plate. "Saturday?" "Yeah. I've been looking over your finances, like we discussed, and I've got some ideas that could really help you out. Some paperwork to sign, investment stuff, really good opportunities." We'd never discussed him looking over my finances, but I just nodded slowly. "What kind of paperwork?" "Oh, just some forms to move your assets into better investment vehicles. You're losing money with everything just sitting in that basic savings account. I can get you much better returns," he smiled. "It's what I do for a living, remember? I take care of people's money." "Right," I said faintly. Thomas's words rang in my ears. "Don't sign anything. Is 9 in the morning okay? I'll have everything printed out and ready to go." "Sure," I heard myself say. 9 is fine." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Thomas Chen. How did he know Derek would ask me to sign something this weekend? It was impossible, unless it wasn't. I'd heard stories, of course. Everyone has. Stories about angels walking among us, about strangers who appear at just the right moment with just the right warning. I'd never believed them before. But Thomas's eyes, the certainty in his voice. Friday passed in a blur. I went through my usual routine, watering my plants, running errands, trying not to think about tomorrow. Claire called in the evening to say they'd be a bit late for dinner because Derek had a client meeting. "Actually, Mom, Derek mentioned he's coming by tomorrow morning to help with your investment stuff?" "That's right." "That's so sweet of him, isn't it? I'm so glad he's taking care of you." There was real warmth in her voice. She loved him. Whatever else was true, that much was real. I went to bed early, but again couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I gave up and went down to the kitchen for warm milk. That's when I saw the light on in the study, my study, the small room where I kept Robert's old desk and all our important papers. The door was slightly ajar. Through the crack, I could see Derek sitting at the desk, going through the filing cabinet. My filing cabinet, where I kept everything. Deeds, insurance policies, Robert's will, my will. I stood frozen in the hallway, watching as he pulled out folders, photographed pages with his phone, put them back. He was methodical, careful, going through everything systematically. My heart hammered in my chest. I backed away silently, crept back upstairs, and sat on my bed in the dark, shaking. "Don't sign anything." Saturday morning came too soon. Derek arrived at exactly 9 o'clock, all smiles, carrying a leather portfolio. Claire was still at the house, thank God. She was in the kitchen making coffee. "Okay, Maggie, let's take a look at these," Derek said, spreading papers across the dining room table. "This first one is a power of attorney. It'll let me make investment decisions on your behalf so you don't have to worry about all the details." I picked up the paper, my hands trembling slightly. The legal language was dense, but I could make out enough. It wasn't just about investments. It would give Derek control over all my financial accounts. "And this one?" he continued, sliding another document toward me. "This transfers the house into a trust. Much better for tax purposes, and it'll protect your assets. Claire and I would be co-trustees with you, of course." I looked at the paper. My house. The house Robert and I had bought in 1985. The house where we'd raised Claire. The house where every corner held a memory. "Derek, I need to think about this." His smile tightened. "What's to think about? I'm a licensed financial advisor, Maggie. This is literally what I do. These are smart moves. Your money is just sitting there doing nothing when it could be growing. I know, but it's a big decision. I'd like to have my lawyer look at these first. Your lawyer? His face hardened. Why would you need a lawyer? Don't you trust me? I'm married to your daughter. Claire appeared in the doorway with coffee. What's wrong? Your mother doesn't trust me, Derek said, and I heard real anger under the hurt tone. I'm trying to help her, and she wants to get a lawyer involved. Mom. Claire looked disappointed. Derek knows what he's doing. He's been so good to us, letting us stay here. Letting you? I couldn't help it. Claire, this is my house. I invited you to stay. We pay rent, Derek cut in sharply. You pay $400 a month for a 3-bedroom house. That's not rent, that's a token. The air in the room went cold. Derek's mask slipped completely. So that's how it is. After everything I've done, all the advice I've given you for free, this is the thanks I get. What advice? I never asked for advice. You're being ungrateful, Claire said, and there were tears in her eyes now. Derek's trying to help you, and you're acting like he's trying to steal from you or something. The words hung in the air. Steal from you. I think you both should leave, I said quietly. Now. Derek stood up, gathering his papers with sharp, angry movements. This is a mistake, Maggie. A huge mistake. You're going to regret this. They left. The door slammed. I sat alone at the dining room table, shaking, wondering if I'd just destroyed my relationship with my only daughter over a stranger's warning that might mean nothing at all. But then I looked at those papers again. Really looked at them. And I saw it. In the fine print of the trust document, buried in legal jargon, in the event of the primary trustee's incapacitation or death, full control would transfer to the co-trustees. And there was a clause about determining incapacitation. It could be determined by just one doctor's evaluation. My blood ran cold. If I'd signed this, if I'd given Derek power of attorney and put my house in this trust, he could have me declared incapacitated. One doctor, probably one he knew, and everything would be his and Claire's. Except Claire wouldn't even know. She'd trust Derek completely. And then what? A nursing home? A care facility? While they sold my house, spent my money? I called my lawyer Monday morning, first thing. Janet Morrison had handled Robert's estate and knew me well. I made an appointment for that afternoon and brought the papers Derek had left behind. Janet read through them, her expression growing darker with each page. Finally, she looked up at me over her reading glasses. Margaret, if you'd signed these, you would have given your son-in-law complete control over everything you own. The house, your savings, Robert's life insurance payout, everything. I know. And this clause here, about incapacitation, it's legal, technically, but it's the kind of thing we usually only see in elder abuse cases. The words hit me like a slap. Elder abuse. Is that what this was? What should I do? I asked. Janet leaned back in her chair. First, you did the right thing, not signing. Second, I think we need to have a serious conversation about protecting your assets. And third, you might want to consider asking your daughter and son-in-law to move out. I thought of Claire, my baby girl, who'd cried in my arms when her father died, who didn't know what kind of man she'd married. Can you do something for me? I asked Janet. Can you look into Derek's background? His business? I need to know who I'm dealing with. She nodded. I have an investigator I work with. Give me a few days. Those few days were torture. Claire called twice. I didn't answer. She left voicemails saying Derek was sorry if he'd come on too strong, that they just wanted to help, that she missed me. Each message broke my heart a little more. On Thursday, Janet called. You need to come in, now. Her office was in a downtown building, 12 floors up with a view of the Willamette River. She had a file folder on her desk, thick with papers. Margaret, Derek Thompson isn't who he says he is. She opened the folder. He is a licensed financial advisor, that's true, but he's been under investigation by the State Securities Board for the past 6 months. 3 different elderly clients have filed complaints claiming he misappropriated their funds, used his power of attorney to make unauthorized transfers, convinced them to put their homes in trusts, then took out loans against them. I felt sick. How much? The total? Nearly $2 million, from 3 different seniors. He hasn't been charged yet because these cases are complex, but it's coming. And Claire? I don't think she knows. My investigator talked to one of the victims. Derek's very good at compartmentalizing. His wife, his previous girlfriend, none of them knew what he was doing. I sat there, staring at the papers. My own son-in-law. What do I do? We go to the police. You give a statement about what he tried to do. It'll add to the case against him. But Claire, she'll hate you for a while, maybe a long while. But she'll be alive and free and not married to a criminal. You're saving her, Margaret, even if she doesn't see it that way. I filed the report that afternoon. Detective Sarah Martinez took my statement, looked at the papers Derek had tried to get me to sign, and nodded grimly. We've been building a case against him. This helps, a lot. When will you arrest him? Soon. Within the week, probably. I went home to my empty house and cried. Cried for Claire, for the betrayal, for the loss of the illusion of family I'd been clinging to. Claire called that night. I answered this time. Mom, what's going on? Derek says you went to a lawyer, that you're trying to cause trouble for him. Claire, honey, I need to tell you something about Derek. No. Her voice was hard. No, I don't want to hear it. You've never liked him. You've been looking for a reason to break us up. That's not true. He's been nothing but good to me, to us, and you're treating him like a criminal. Claire, I don't want to talk to you right now, Mom. Maybe not for a long time. She hung up. They arrested Derek on Tuesday morning. It was on the news by evening. Financial advisor charged with elder fraud, multiple counts. His photo on the screen, being led away in handcuffs. Claire showed up at my door at 9 that night. Her face was blotchy from crying, her eyes red. You knew, she whispered. You knew, and you tried to warn me. I pulled her inside, held her while she sobbed. I didn't know everything, but I knew enough to protect us. He told me you were being paranoid. He said you were getting old, confused. He was so convincing, Mom. I believed him over you. He's a con artist, baby. It's what he does. He's good at it. We sat up until 3 a.m, talking. I told her everything. The papers, the investigation, what he'd been doing to other people. She told me how he'd been subtly isolating her from her friends, how he'd convinced her to quit her job search, how he'd been slowly taking control of every aspect of her life. I feel so stupid, she said. You're not stupid. You were in love. He took advantage of that. How did you know not to sign? I thought about Thomas Chen, about his warning, about his impossible knowledge. Someone told me not to. A stranger I helped. He knew, somehow. He knew what Derek was planning. Claire looked at me with wide eyes. Like an angel? Maybe. Or maybe just someone who'd seen it before and recognized the signs. Either way, he saved us. The trial took 8 months. Derek pleaded guilty to avoid a longer sentence. He got 6 years. Claire divorced him while he was awaiting sentencing. She moved back in with me, for real this time, not as a temporary thing but as partners sharing a house. She got a job at a new marketing firm, started therapy, started healing. One Saturday morning in June, almost a year after that day in the parking lot, we were having coffee on the back porch when Claire said, Mom, did you ever try to find him, the man who warned you? I tried. I went back to that Safeway every week for months, hoping to see him. Never did. Do you think he was real? I sipped my coffee, watching a robin hop across the lawn. I think he was real. I think he was a kind man who'd lost his wife and knew what it was like to be vulnerable. And I think he saw something in Derek, or heard something, and wanted to protect me. I wish I could thank him. Me too, honey. Me too. We never did find Thomas Chen. His daughter Susan wasn't listed in any Portland lawyer directories. The Camry he'd been near wasn't registered to anyone with that name. It was like he'd appeared just for that moment, delivered his message, and vanished. But sometimes, when I'm at the grocery store, I catch myself looking for him, hoping to see that kind face, to tell him what his warning saved. My home, my independence, my daughter's future, everything. I'm 63 now, and I'm not naive anymore. I look at documents carefully. I question things. I trust my instincts. And I never, ever take warnings lightly, even from strangers. Especially from strangers. Because sometimes the voice of an angel sounds exactly like an elderly man who collapsed in a parking lot. And sometimes the smallest act of kindness, stopping to help someone in need, comes back to save your whole world. If you liked my story, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. I love seeing how far these stories travel. I've got more true stories from my life on the screen. Click one and let's spend more time together. Thank you for listening. God bless.